It is time for Nebraska Shootaround with our guy Mike Sautter here. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much. Nebraska men's basketball got a game in.
We're underway.
Yeah.
The college basketball season is underway.
A very real game happened.
Yes, it's definitely did not sound like an exhibition still against a team called West Georgia, which I definitely knew existed before yesterday.
I did not until I saw it on the schedule. And then I was like, wait, let me look this up. Second year of existence, second year playing Division I basketball.
Yeah, I was 100% sure when I looked at their schedule and I was like, all right, BYU exhibition, that makes sense. Midland exhibition, that makes sense. West Georgia exhibition, that makes. Oh wait, that one's real.
Yeah.
It certainly felt real to Nebraska in the first half yesterday, where they were struggling to shoot the ball.
Scary.
30 to 25 at halftime. As you're kind of digesting this, was there any part of you that was like, yeah, these are some of the fears that you have about this Nebraska team if they don't play well, or was it totally out of character?
No, I think it was more like they'll be fine.
Just first game,
yeah,
right out the gate.
I think they probably
because they didn't shoot the ball for anything in the first half.
And that's probably going to happen with this team a little bit. I do think that it is going to be very rare that you're going to see everybody, the whole team, shoot poorly.
Yeah,
and they ended up not, right? Like, so Braden Frager ended up having a day. So it's one of those things where that wing kind of shooter position, so you have Price Sanford, Connor Esiason, Braden Frager in that group. I doubt there'll be a game where all three of them shoot under 35% from three.
Yeah.
Like, they're too good of shooters to do that. So,
I mean, combined 3 for 17 from three.
Yeah,
out of that game, mostly carried by Sanford and Sanford and Esiason were 1 for 12
right.
of that group, right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure, hey, probably not going one, especially Sanford. We've seen what he's
can
done.
Really shoot it. So.
We've seen a little bit with Esiason be streaky last year, so I don't totally know. Like, yeah, there might be some of those in there where he struggles, but to have both of those guys not shoot the ball well at the same time probably isn't going to happen a ton this year.
Yeah, and Frager was 2 of 5 from three,
which is fine. Like, you'll take that
every day, right? So, and his ability to really straight line driver, get downhill, and uses athleticism as something. So they used a big run in the second half to kind of blow the doors off. So it's good.
Talk to me about Braden Frager a little bit here, because I'll be honest, I wasn't sure really what to expect from him coming out of the redshirt year, what his role was going to be. Obviously, they brought in a ton of transfers, had some guys returning as well. I wasn't really sure what to expect of him from this year. What are you expecting from Frager?
So I've seen Frager play.
For a long time.
Like probably 50 games in his life, I'm guessing, from when he was playing 15U AAU basketball to 16U to 17U, all along the way, and high school games. The year off certainly helped him physically. Grew.
He looks different,
like way bigger, stronger.
Looks way different.
Not just physically, I think mentally it helped him too. He matured a lot, and that was kind of part of the plan of him. Remember, he left high school a year early, reclassified up, which is rare, and like we've not seen
for guys that aren't super high.
A top 5 player or something.
Sure,
but so that kind of, I'm not going to call it a gamble, but that decision has paid off.
Sure,
it looks like it's paid off so far because
getting into
really
a college
good
weight room sooner, college nutrition sooner. Yeah.
So it was really good to see him. I think one thing in post game, after the West Georgia game, he mentioned seeing the shots go in against Midland really helped his confidence.
Absolutely.
And he does not lack for confidence.
Sure.
But
it's just different in games, right? Especially when you haven't played for a really long time.
Right.
That's a big deal.
He's a very confident player, very confident kid, believes he can do things like he did against West Georgia every night.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd rather have guys like that than not on my team.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That's one of those positives for him. He's, like I said, straight line driver, really athletic, really can get up and dunk and like run the floor and do all that. Yeah, caught an alley-oop and all that stuff. So he brings a lot to the table. It's a matter of like, can he consistently do it against the better teams that he hasn't played against in his life?
Yeah,
right?
just never had that opportunity.
Yeah, that position is very interesting because you got those three.
Yeah,
and it's kind of interchangeable, really. Like Braden's the most athletic for sure of those three, but they bring different things. Yeah. Right. Price will have good games where he shoots
lights out of the ball.
Yeah. And so we
saw that against Nebraska. Last year, right?
So will Connor Season. So it's kind of how you manage those minutes, or can you play two of those three at the same time? You might give up a little defensively, but at the same time, they got to guard you.
That's what I'll find super interesting.
Yeah,
right?
like how does that kind of work, right?
Like how much does Hoiberg want to lean into the upside of his offensive potential of this roster versus trying to make sure they can still defend at a high level? Like that's going to be super interesting.
Nebraska defensively does the last handful of years have done a tremendous job of playing team defense. Now, like they kind of hid Keisei Tominaga and team defense around him, and like we're able to just kind of put him in a corner or something. They really did.
And then, really,
and really drive things into the middle. And you have Rink there and Berke Buchtenjo there, and like you have those players to kind of defend. They're not massive shot blockers, but they're physical enough where they can kind of get up. They are you can watching them play. They teach, and you can see that they teach just the verticality. Just get in there, go vertical, don't move.
Yeah.
And if they score, they score. But 9 times out of 10, probably 7 out of 10, you're living with that every day. So that's how they're going to have to play defense, is that team defense, because they don't have like Sam Hoiberg's probably their defensive like stopper guy, but he's still physical limitations.
I say undersized a little bit, and there's going to be guys that are more athletic than he is.
Right, especially when you get to league play, like and a lot of teams are just downhill guys at the point
physical,
or point guard situation. So that'll be interesting how that works out, I think. But as far as got a big win, a little scary in the first half. Nebraska's still in the last couple years 3 so far this year hasn't had that dud of a loss that they traditionally have, and that's the formula. Like, you just can't have one of those.
Beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yes.
Give yourself a chance in conference play.
Yeah, beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Beat Oklahoma.
That's a big one.
In Sioux Falls in 2 weeks. And then go to Kansas City, beat New Mexico, who's kind of a rebuilding kind of bunch, and then beat Mississippi State or K-State. Or if you go 1-1 Kansas City, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you got to beat Oklahoma. Of those 3,
got to beat Oklahoma.
I think so the 4 bigger non-conference games is Oklahoma, New Mexico, and then Mississippi State or K-State, and Creighton. Split those 4.
Go 2-2.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Go 0-4, now we got a problem.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But if you split those 2, I think you're good.
Give yourself a chance.
Anything more than that, awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because they're going to hover around that 50 in Ken Palm and net rating stuff all year. They're going to be a bubble. That's like their bubble formula that they've had the last 2 years.
Try and go about 500 in conference.
Yeah, be at worst 8-12 in conference.
At best, probably 12-8.
12-8. Yeah. They're going to be right in that heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's where they need to be.
And that gives you a shot.
Yeah.
To be on the bubble.
Then you'll be bubble, net rating team. Like last year, I mean, they were still kind of until the last couple of games still like very bubble. Yeah. And they didn't even make that tournament, the Big Ten tournament. Yeah. They're still bubble
the
team.
Last 2 weeks of the season for sure.
Yeah.
Very much in it.
Yeah. So it's the same formula this year.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see if they are able to split those key non-conference games the way you talked about. Real quick here before we go, a couple of guys returning to this team from different things, right? Jamarques Lawrence transfers, comes back. Yeah. Rink Mast hurt, comes back. How big is it to have those guys back on the roster from 2 years ago?
Oh, I think Rink is huge.
Yeah, right.
Just from not only obviously he's a little slower and not as athletic. He wasn't super athletic anyway, but just from stabilizing force, that's what he is.
Yeah.
And you can lead with your words and verbally and stuff if you're on the bench and you're injured, but it's different than when you're on the court. So it's different. And he brings that different dimension of you can play him at the high post and
run a little
stretch him out. Yeah, he can initiate offense for you. He can even bring it up if you need, So it's the multi-ball handler system that they got is anybody really can bring it up and initiate it. And Jamarques is great. He's a super culture guy. Knows, obviously very familiar with the culture, and he got a little better at Rhode Island. Like
I think so.
So he was 5 of 8 from 3.
Listen,
I'll take that with him.
I don't think you're going to get
every
that
day
all year, but if he can show that he's an improved and a shooter that you have to honor in terms of guarding him, that's going to be a huge difference.
He was 5 of 8 from 3, 6 of 10 from the field, and had 6 assists.
Yeah, I mean that's a great
amazing game for him.
It's a great game. He was second leading scorer with 18 points. Yeah, right after Frager.
He is, and he's. I will say this about the basically everybody on the team. They're all great, like good human culture people like that. Like I would say,
it seems like
95% of them are.
It seems like chemistry has been a big shift
thing with them
over the last few years as Fred Hoiberg started to turn the corner a little bit.
Yeah,
some of those early Hoiberg teams, the chemistry seemed strange at best. Seems like that's been a major shift in the last couple of years.
It's good. Like I think it's a positive. And last year they had a little cracks in it, and this year hopefully they don't.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone kind of knows their role and what they're doing. They're really connected, I feel like, so far. So
and that's undervalued in basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a pretty unselfish team.
Yeah.
Talking with Rink, I did a sit-down interview with Rink. You can find it on Hail Varsity's YouTube, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But did a sit-down with Rink, and I asked him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, we're pretty unselfish. We like each other. Like we know everyone knows what people can do and what they can't and what they're capable of." So, and in this transfer portal era, that's important. So
and more rare than it used to be.
Yeah, 100%.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, that is Mike Sautter for our Nebraska Shootaround. We're going to talk to Rico here in just a minute to talk about Nebraska women's basketball. He'll be on that beat this year as well. But Mike, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you Friday for our regular prep segment, and then let's do this again next week.
Yeah, let's do.
All right, that's Mike Sautter for Nebraska Shootaround. All right, welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. This is a little extra Nebraska Shootaround with our guy Enrique Alvarez-Clary, or as I like to call him, Rico. Rico, you're going to be on the Nebraska women's basketball beat this year, and they got their season off to a close, hard-fought victory.
It was tough.
It was, a real nail biter, 103-46 over Northwestern State Lady Demons.
Yeah, it was a close one.
I didn't throw the lady in there. That is what they call themselves. Yes. Nebraska with a cool 57-point win to start the season off.
Yes, and it was sort of Kids Day. There was a lot of middle school students from around the state of Nebraska who were there. There was a pep rally before the game. Amy Williams and a bunch of other athletes from other sports, including women's basketball, were there to speak to the students. And then they stuck around and watched the game and were extremely excited for Nebraska versus Northwestern State, some of them taking in their first D1 women's basketball action. And they were treated to a really good one. At the beginning of the game, it started off a little bit back and forth as both teams were trying to find their footing, and Nebraska just started putting the defensive clamps down on Northwestern State, went to a full court press pretty early in the first quarter, and that proved to be very, very good for them as they were getting steal after steal, fast break buckets. Britt Prince started off extremely quickly scoring, and that's something that Amy Williams mentioned in the postgame presser, is that when Britt Prince starts fast and starts scoring to open up games for Nebraska, it really opens up the rest of the offense. And we got a lot of looks at some of the new transfers that came in for Nebraska. But overall, just a very impressive performance, both offensively and defensively. Honestly, I was more impressed with Nebraska's defense, but their offense was pretty close.
So here's the thing I always kind of struggle with games of this type, which we see on the men's side, on the women's side, a lot early in the basketball season, is what's real, what's portable.
That's a hard one to...
What translates, right? Because, it's Northwestern State. You're like, let's full court press them and get a million steals and stops. And it's like, that seems like a great idea against Northwestern State. What does that look like for the rest of the season? I know that's not a question you can totally answer, but how much of that do you think Nebraska is going to try to implement through the rest of the season?
I think through the rest of the season that they're going to maybe not a full court press, maybe picking teams up at half court, especially with the skill that is in the Big Ten. Really from coast to coast, you've got UCLA. USC is still going to be really good, although Juju Watkins isn't going to be playing this season. UCLA is really good, and then you go to the East Coast, you've got Maryland, who's a really good squad. So really from coast to coast in the Big Ten, you're going to be facing some bigger, talented, fast guards and bigs. So Nebraska, really, their defensive efforts, and it's something that they really harp on this season and in other seasons. That's kind of Amy Williams' specialty, is she really wants her teams to be good defensively. And taking much away from this Northwestern State game, like you said, you can't really do much with that.
Yeah.
But the intensity that they played with, the way that they were closing out on shooters, the way that they were extremely active with their hands and boxing out, getting to the ball before it even hits the ground for rebounds, that's something that, regardless of who you play, I understand that it's maybe a lower level and they might not have the skill, but that want to, that grit, that fight, that's something that translates regardless of who you're playing.
So talk to me about the starters and rotation for Nebraska. Obviously, they're probably not going to go 11 deep against most teams. You had 10 different players get at least 16 minutes. What do you think that looks like? Do you think they're still trying to find what that looks like moving forward?
Well, so the issue, and not really an issue, the thing is that they are without 2 starters still, potentially 3 starters still, as Allison Widener, who injured herself again, unfortunately, last season, is going to be out for maybe half of the season. And that's the same with Natalie Potts, who tore her ACL pretty early into last season. She's still not ready. We'll see if they get her back, December, January, whenever. I believe that they might be getting her back before or right at the beginning of conference play.
Yeah, I think
and that's 2 extremely important pieces right there. And then one of the transfers from Kansas State, Eliza Maupin, I believe I'm saying that right. I could be saying that wrong. The senior 6'3" forward that they got transferred in from Kansas State. She didn't play as well. She was in. She wasn't, dressed in like the jersey, but she was wearing the team issued gear, and I believe she had a brace on her on her knee.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't recall if there was any mention of her being injured and missing this season. But if they do get her back, I believe she's going to play a big role on this team as well. So you've got 3 very important pieces who didn't play and won't play for a while, but the starters that they had, Petra Bojan, Jessica Petrie, Britt Prince, Callan Hake, Haley Weaver, all put on an amazing show. And then having Claire Johnson coming off the bench, the way that she and Amy Williams mentioned this in the post-game pressers, they brought her in, and her skill set was mostly like, she's a 3-point shooter. Like, she's going to be hitting deep range shots. She's going to be getting you 3 points. That's where most of her shots are going to come from. She says when they were going through their camps early in the season, she went home and told her husband, she's more than a 3-point shooter. Like, she's got a quick first step. She's going to be extremely good scoring in all facets of the game. But also, her defense was elite against Northwestern State. She was getting a ton of steals against Northwestern State. So that's going to be another thing. She'll be one of the more important pieces off of the bench. Logan Nisley, we know what she can do coming out of North Dakota. She's also a sniper, and she's kind of a backup point guard for them. But the starting lineup with Petra Bojan there, Petra Bojan and Jessica Petrie in the post, their skill sets there and being able to hit mid-range and deep shots. Like, you lost Alexis Markowski, who was extremely important to that team for 4 years. You can't take anything away from her, but still having bigs who can get into the paint, create their own shot from the post, but also stretch the court and hit threes. That's a welcome sight from Petrie, the player from Australia, and Petra Bojan also from overseas. So having those 2, and then Britt Prince, like I mentioned earlier, her skill set and being able to score from damn near anywhere on the court, that's going to help as well. And Callan Hake, the deep range sniper, and also one of the better defenders on the team.
What are you expecting from Britt Prince as she transitions from freshman year, trying to get everything under her feet, and this now? Where do you see her development going in her second year in the program?
Well, as the season went on last year, you kind of saw her getting more comfortable playing, in college, playing against bigger, stronger players. Early she was coming in, 4 straight state championships, the best player in the state, a 5-star guard, getting recruited from everywhere except for South Carolina was offering her a scholarship. Everybody wanted her. She chose to stay home and go to Nebraska. And you could see maybe the pressure early in the season as she was trying maybe to push it a little bit too much. But as the season went on, she found her footing, and it did help that she had Alexis Markowski down there in the post to kind of dump that off and go to work, and a lot of teams were focusing on her. But I really think that her scoring output is probably going to go up this season with the addition of a who was it? I believe it's Haley Weaver coming in and playing some point for them as well. That's going to go a long way for Nebraska and Haley being able to guard the other team's best guard. So then Britt doesn't have to not waste energy, but kind of tire herself out chasing around one of the better guards or any of the better guards in the Big Ten on defense and then having to go to work on offense. I think her scoring output really is going to go up. And as Amy Williams said, when she starts quick and she looks to score, that's going to open things up, and then she'll be able to dish the rock around to whoever else. That
is Nebraska women's basketball start to the season with a nice, cool 103-46 victory over Northwestern State. We'll keep checking in with Rico throughout the season.
You should have heard the crowd when they hit 67. It was ridiculous.
We're going to stop now. That's Rico. It's Nebraska Shootaround. That's a little extra Hurrdat Sports live for you. We will do this every week with Nebraska and with Creighton on Wednesdays and Thursdays, respectively.